Woo! What's going on, guys? Orum'S Den coming at you guys today. And today, man, I got a great panel out there. First, we're going to talk some Lions football. We're going to talk some NFL. I'm going to introduce the panel first, and then I'll get to the chat. Dern, say what's up. Oh, Avery G, sorry, buddy. Say what's up.
What's up, y'all? How's it hanging? How's it doing? You too. I'm so happy to be on this channel, man. You guys be talking that stuff, man. I love you guys, man.
Great to have you, Avery, man. If you haven't already, man, subscribe to Avery G's channel. He is the boss. Micro Mike, what's going on, brother? How you doing, dude?
Hey, what's going on, man? What's up, everybody in the chat? Guess what today is? Day one of training camp. So officially, the offseason is the past. Woo. Yes! Lions freaking football, man. Let's go.
Let's go. Tone T in the building, man. How you doing, brother? Say what do you got to say to the people in the chat, bud?
It's great, guys. Good to come on here with you guys today. You know, hopefully I don't start flickering on and off since my power been going now with this rain.
Uh-oh. Okay. Duly noted, brother. Duly noted. And I think Dern's still doing a little bit of stuff there right now. Dern's in the building.
I'll keep doing it. I'll keep working on it as we go. I swear, Tone's intro and outro are the same thing almost every time, and I love it.
You gotta love it,
man. I haven't been on in a while. It feels good to get back on. I'm glad to talk football with you guys.
Yeah.
So let's get this rolling.
Awesome, brother. Well, hey, man, it's finally upon us, guys. The NFL's back. Training camp is in the building. Detroit Lions are in the building. Now, what are your guys' thoughts on just football in general coming back, man? Detroit Lions. What are your guys' thoughts? Micro Mike, man, start it off, buddy.
I'm happy. It's such a long off season where we're talking about the draft. We're talking about what's going to happen. But now is the time where things are going to actually happen. All the talk can be over when you get into camp and you see how these players are going to do, see the motivation behind it. And then when they get into the season, all these haters and everything that's been talked about bad about our team has a chance to give them a middle finger and show them, hey, we're not as worthless as everybody says they are, and we get our Sundays back to us. Enjoy some NFL football.
Absolutely, man. Let's have a quick shout out to Jamie Ward, man. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the chat. Vash Darwin in the building with a big woo. Sam the man. We will get to that, brother. We would talk absolutely about Aaron Rodgers. Andrew Lunsford in the building. Who else we got? The Madness man, Madness Elite Show. What's going on, Georgia? How you doing, buddy? One of my best friends. What's up, Chris Green? How you doing, buddy? What's going on? Go Lions in the building. All right, man. Good to see you in the chat, guys. It's awesome, man. Thanks for joining. So, Dern, what do you think about just football in general? Detroit Lions back in the building, man. How fired up are you, buddy?
I'm very fired up. I haven't really watched anything besides these podcasts that you guys do that I haven't been able to join lately. So I don't know a lot of what's going on except for obviously the Aaron Rodgers stuff because it's everywhere. But now that that's coming to an end, hopefully, which I believe it is, but it feels good that it's coming back finally. It's such a long waiting thing just to wait for it during the off season. It always feels good when we're about to get to football again.
100%, buddy. Avery Giovanni, man, how do you feel, man, about the NFL and just the Detroit Lions, man, coming back? Training camp has started. What's going on, bro, in your mind with that?
The battles, man. It's going to be amazing, man. I can't wait to see the receivers that come out on top. Who's going to be the opposite of, Perryman or Williams? The tight end battle. I mean, for the number 2 spot, Darren Fells has it in the bag, but does he really? I want to see the battles. It's going to be amazing when we go out there, or when I go out there. I know a couple other YouTubers are as well. Just to see who really competes and rises to the top. There's some underdog stories there too with Tom Kennedy and Victor Bolden. I'm really excited for that.
For sure, man. Tone T, man, what are your thoughts, bud?
I'm very excited. You can hear it in my voice. But
yeah, man, it's coming right out of the screen, buddy. Coming right out of the screen.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how some of these battles go, because a lot of these battles are going to really determine how this team's future and current picture look. How does Saval look after losing all that weight? Because that linebacker core needs somebody who can step up other than Jamie Collins. How does this D-line look? How does Deshaun Hannon specifically look? Because we don't really have a proven interior pass rusher, and he could be that guy. How does Julian look? You know, he was a top prospect last year. Got him in the third round. A lot of people consider that a steal. How is he going to bounce back from injury? How is a guy like Sewell going to look after swinging over from left tackle to right tackle? And he's already voiced his opinions of how big of transition that's been, on top of the fact that you know, competition. It's going to be a lot of things that's going to be paying attention to at training camp. But, you know,
for sure,
ready
man.
to see how it goes.
Sure. Yeah, I woke up today. I was extremely fired up. It was like Christmas. It was like Christmas for me, man. I woke up, football, put the TV on, NFL Network all day. There was a lot of Sharon Rogers information out there that I didn't really want to see, but we kind of knew what was going to happen with that, man. We kind of had a feeling about it, man, and they didn't really talk about too many teams. Just you saw a little bit of Dallas Cowboys stuff, a lot of Packers stuff though right now. No Lions. They didn't really talk about anybody else except for Karen Rogers. So speaking of Karen, we'll get right to that, man. He showed up at the Packers training camp today with his man bun and his traditional T-shirt that he always shoots at the media. He had his board shorts on and it looks like he was going back to school. It looked like he was going to school in his sandals, with a smirk on his face, walking into the Packers facility with a smirk on his face, man. Apparently, it's going to be the last dance going on with his little cryptic message that he put out there on Twitter and Instagram with him and Davante Adams kind of put with the Jordan and the Pippen picture there, referencing, I think, the last dance is what I think a lot of people are referring to. So, what are you guys' thoughts on Rodgers coming back? Is he going to get traded? Because Dave Burkett kind of said it today too, man. He was on Woodward Sports kind of saying, don't be surprised. He was kind of just throwing it out there about a Denver Broncos traded in the future, but who knows, man. Dern, what do you think about the Rodgers fiasco, buddy?
First, I just want to say now there's two reasons that we should be excited for next year. All those draft picks, and now Rodgers is going to be gone, plus possibly Davante Adams because he doesn't want to go back either. I mean, how the tides will turn, because in my mind, there's a reason why they want Aaron Rodgers to come back so bad. I believe that Jordan Love isn't where they want him to be, and that's why they're giving him what he wants in order to play this year. So Love can get to where he needs to be. But, man, next year is just going to be something special.
Oh, 100%, buddy. Micro Mike, man, what are your thoughts on the Rodgers deal, buddy?
When I think of Aaron Rodgers, there's only one thing that really comes to mind. Douchebag. This guy
He is
a douchebag. And he is a diva. I can't stand this dude. It's annoying. I don't know what's up with Green Bay Packers quarterbacks, but they just can't go out normally. Man, I can't wait for this guy to be gone. I'm so tired of Karen Rodgers. Everything's on him. Look at me. I got a man bun. Tired of it, man. So when he is gone, I am going to be one happy guy. I'm so tired. Always, it was Brett Favre. Brett Favre watch. Let's go where he's at, Mississippi. Let's watch him. Now it's Sharon Rodgers. Where's he doing? Man, I don't care, man. Just get him out of here. Go to Jeopardy. Go to Discount Double Douche. Get out of here, man.
100%, man. Avery Giovanni, buddy, what do you think about the Rodgers scene going on right now in Packerland, buddy?
So, I think Aaron been listening to Colin Cowherd a little too much. He been feeling himself a little too much. Yes, he's a former MVP, twice MVP, won a Super Bowl. But what have you done for me lately? The Packers, if the Packers played Jordan Love and he sat out the whole year and they won without him, it would be huge. So him coming today, to me, he could have did this. He could have said, I don't want an offseason. He could have had that conversation. He didn't have to play this drama out with the media. I think Gridiron Blitz spoke to this as well. Like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to make the offseason about what are you going to do and this, that, and the third. You didn't have to have eyes on you mentality. You could have just sat out the mini camp, sat out that. The playbook hasn't changed. You're the MVP, and you went on Jeopardy and all this other stuff. You had all this confusion. So, for me, he is Karen Rodgers, And honestly, you've been feeling yourself too much, man. The age is gonna catch up with you. Your lackadaisical behavior. You could have got in the receiving room with some guys. You could have did a lot of things, and you just sullied your opportunity to get closer to your team. You hurt your team, and no amount of wins is gonna change that.
Yeah, 100%, man. Tone T, man, what are your thoughts on the Rodgers deal, buddy?
Well, I hate to say I tell you so, but so anybody who don't want Aaron Rodgers to come back, it might not be looking that great for y'all. I don't know if y'all heard the news, but it looked like he might be getting a new contract with the Packers. And it's not the contract that you think it is. A lot of people thought he's going to get like Mahomes money, get an extension. If anything, it's the opposite of extension. What it basically does, he currently has 3 years left on his contract, and the proposed contract that's coming now would get rid of that 3rd year, and it would make next year basically a player option. So Rodgers would basically say, if I want to stay or if I want to go, and if they can't tag him, it would include a no tag, so they can't tag him, none of that. So man, and he's gonna really hold the Packers' feet to the fire, because apparently his biggest problem with the Packers has been, how they do business. A perfect example is the Devontae Adams situation. I understand why they won't pay that man. You don't have any wide receivers, but let me get off of that. Man, it might not be looking that great for us this season. Next season, I think he's going to leave because the Packers are still a horrible, 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 horrible organization. I hope he leaves. But this season, it looked like he's going to be on the field, especially if that contract comes in.
Yeah, it definitely looks like money was in play here. The dead cap would have been tremendous against the Packers organization if they would have got rid of him, and he himself would have lost a lot of money if he would have sat out. I don't think he had any intention to retire. I think that was all just a big joke too about him coming out to retire. All false leaks. But I think there's a lot of under the table handshakes going on, like you said, Tone. There's a lot of things going on, like they're going to take away his. They're going to take away. What was I going to say?
A lot of pictures going on.
I was thinking of a handshake under the table.
Well, one of those handshakes. You know what I mean? One of those shakes. Just if you're at the podium, if you're at the bathroom too long, and you're shaking it a lot, then you're not going to the bathroom anymore. You're not going to the bathroom anymore. Okay,
Two shakes, move on.
2 shakes, move on. 2 shakes, move on. Then it's not a bathroom break anymore. So, but yeah, I think money's heavily involved here. A lot of it came out like a little bit ago that money wasn't involved. There you go. A lot of table under the hand jobs. There you go. Okay. There you go, Steve-O. Thank you. But yeah, man, money was involved, and now they're going to void that 2023 whatever. They're going to take it away. He doesn't have to. They're not going to franchise him. All kinds of promises. So I think he's going to be gone next year. Who knows what the deal's going on with Devontae Adams. Now I just heard that he's back in talks again, talking with them. So I think they're a package deal. Honestly, I think they're going to the same team next year. I think they're going to get traded or something's going to go on with that. I don't know why Devontae Adams would want to come back. So that team's going to be a train wreck in a year or two. So even worse than they are now. Like if they didn't have Aaron Rodgers on that team, you imagine how bad of a train wreck that organization actually would be. It'd be worse off than ever. So anyways, guys, if you guys got any comments in the chat, man, you guys will have any questions, hashtag it. We'll try to get to it, man. And if I don't get to it, I'm sorry, but we will try 100%. Spirit of Contest just said, why? Yes, maybe that's a yes. Thank you for the $4.99, buddy. I love it, man. What's that, bro?
It just said why. I don't know why. I had Go Lions or something, and then it deleted, I guess. But it is what it is, man.
It's all good, brother. It's all good, brother. Thank you, man. Okay, to the third question, guys. What was I gonna say, man? I'm lost. Oh, yeah. The other rumor too is that Randall Cobb is apparently in trade talks going on from Houston to Green Bay. What do you guys feel about that? I think it's maybe 5 years too late, but he was a Packer for a long time. If that's their case of helping him, okay, I'll take that any day of the week, man. Because I don't think Randall Cobb's not good anymore. What do you think about that, Mike?
I don't care. It has no effect on me. Either way, you know, he can go ahead and go back over there if that makes Karen Rodgers happy. You got to bow to Karen Rodgers and his under the table handshakes that he does over there. I don't care, man. Like Randall Cobb's nothing. He's not a Devonta Adams. He's nothing like that. He's definitely past his prime. And if we're worrying about Randall Cobb, we got some more issues on this football team. If that's who we're worried about.
100%. Darren, what do you think about Randall Cobb going over there?
I feel that Randall Cobb hasn't been good in like 3 years.
Yeah,
I think, like Mike said, and you said, he's past his prime. Yeah. I think he's going, if it is true, he's just going there because Rodgers wants him and they're best friends. I would not take Randall Cobb over Rashad Perriman, which I'm not a big fan of. Right. I would not take him over Tyrell Williams, and he has injury problems. He would probably, in my opinion, be our 5th wide receiver. He's better than Geronimo Allison.
Take Geronimo Allison, man. Take him with.
Right. Yeah, he was there.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, man. Tone T, what do you think about the Randall Cobb situation going there? I don't know what they're going to trade for him, man. Maybe a bag of cleats. I'm not even sure. What do you think?
That is such a weird situation. It's such because I heard the news about it. Apparently, as soon as they traded for Anthony Miller, all of a sudden news broke. Oh, well, Randall Cobb might be going back to the Packers. I'm like, I think this is like a few years too late. I mean, Randall Cobb is, what are they going to do? Bring Jordy Nelson out of retirement next? Like, come on.
Yeah, James Jones, too. James Jones. And
bring back James Jones. Greg Jennings. Bring them all back.
Yeah.
Like, that man is too old to do anything on that team. Although, ironically, he 100%. Might be the third best receiver because their receiving core is that bad. But Randall Cobb ain't nobody you got to worry about in 2021.
Exactly. Yeah. Avery, man, what do you think about the Randall Cobb situation going there? I think it's a little bit desperate, man. It sounds desperate. What do you think?
Well, one, you know, the Packers offense is primarily rub routes, crosses, digs, trips right, trips left. He's going to be an underneath receiver. It's going to benefit him. But at the end of the day, you 30, 31, you're 31 in August. You know, you're not the guy. You've never been the guy. You're not going to mitigate him not leaving. Because if he leaves, if he still has a contract for about, let's say he gets traded, right? He goes to the Packers. He's there for 2 years or whatever. He has to deal with the real fact that Rodgers is not going to be there. You understand what I'm saying? So even if you're successful, Rodgers is leaving. You're not even going to change his mind on it. He left that franchise the last coaching regime. So I don't know, to go with your best friend and do all that to make a career change seems a little suspect to me. You know, might be one of them handshakes. Y'all had a handshake while he's playing Jeopardy. I don't know, but
for sure
under the table.
Yeah, under the table. It's just
one of those deals, man. I just think it's like, what else could they have done? Like that, it's like, okay, hey, we'll go out and get Randall Cobb. Kind of saying it with like Randall Cobb. I don't know. Is that good enough, Rodgers? Like, I don't know. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to do for you.
He
like,
actually,
you know what I mean?
He actually was hustling backwards because he had them so weighed down on their contract. They couldn't sign anybody when receivers were available. When Golladay was available, when D.D. Webster was available, when all these people were available, Sharp, all these other people, all these other receivers, he didn't want to restructure his contract. Now he restructures and free agency's over.
Right? Yeah, it's over. So I don't know, man. It just seems like they're placating something. It's just they're just trying to just make him happy for the time being, man. It's just
what a weirdo.
I don't know. It's the whole situation's weird, Avery. I think the organization handled it wrong, and I think Rodgers handled it wrong. They should have traded him when his tradability was as high as it is right now. They should have got rid of him. Now, I guess they still can. There's no saying they can't do it because it can happen. Like you never know, but who knows what's going to happen? I'm looking at it now like he's staying, he's playing. I think it's going to be the last hurrah, but you just never know with this douchebag, man. I just never know what's going on with him. But we'll go to the next question, guys. We got 5 of us on the panel, so give me one player each, and I'll go last. Give me one player each that you are keeping an eye on, like one individual, just a player. And I'll start with you, Mike.
Ooh, well, I would say Jared Goff, but that's the easy one. But how about Quintez Cephas? I want to see what he's going to do with this team. Second year for the Detroit Lions. Can he step up as a young guy? I thought he was performing well last year at the end of the season and starting to show a little bit of promise there. And I think if he can go ahead and get a connection with Jared Goff, he can continue that ascension and maybe potentially, uproot one of these other wide receivers out there. So I'm really looking to see how Quintez Cephas performs.
Nice. Dern, you got somebody in mind?
I would normally say St. Brown, but I already know he's probably going to be the slot. So the guy that I'm looking to watch quite a bit is Quinton Dunbar. Is he going to beat out Amani for that second spot? We know that Okudah is going to take that first one. Now it's that battle between Amani and Quinton Dunbar. Quinton Dunbar was a very good corner a couple of years ago, so I hope he can get back to that.
Nice, man. Avery Giovanni, man, you got one individual?
Yeah, I got one. I'm looking forward to seeing Aleem McNeil. I really think he's going to be a force on the defensive line. I really do. His ability to cause disruption through the A gap, his ability to be fast enough to be. He's 270 his last weigh-in was. I think he should have put on more weight, so he should be about 290. His ability to get after the quarterback, chase him down, do stunts. I think he's going to be a top-notch defensive lineman. So I just can't wait to see that pressure, that old Ndamukong Suh type of mentality coming from him. I just can't wait to see it.
Nice, man. Tone, who do you got in mind, man? Who you keeping an eye on?
I was going to go with Deshaun Hand, but, I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to go with Jordan Jackson. Jordan Jackson is really going to determine how high a potential this offensive line goes. Because while he was pretty last year. Especially, it wasn't a great rookie class for guards anyway, and it was a COVID season. A lot of the top rookie, offensive linemen struggled last year, so I'll give him a pass on all that. But we really need to see how he's going to look next year, especially because his play is really going to also affect how guys like Decker and Ragnow plays. Because, one of the biggest things you can do to help your center out is give him some good guards. And Jonah's going to really benefit from playing with those guys. I want to see how good he looks individually, especially in the pass game. He has some really bad moments as a pass blocker, even though I'd argue that was probably his biggest strength coming out of college. He has all the talent. I heard apparently he switched up his diet. That's going to be interesting to see, see if he puts on some weight. He's came out around like 305. That's a little bit on the lighter side.
It's a little lighter, yeah.
Yeah, trying to see how he really gets in there, see if he adds some more power element to his game, because that was kind of one of the things that hurt him a lot in college and in his first year. So I just want to see how his development goes, because it's really going to affect the future of the rest of this offensive line. Because if we're going to be a team that dominates up front and that relies on the running game, then you're going to really need him to step up and be a really good player.
I take it we all confident on Hulaputa Vaitai.
Not really. That was one of the guys that I was going to pick, but I was going to pick Vaitai. I'm actually really worried about him, to tell you the truth, man. I don't know if he's even going to win that guard spot, but I'm going to go with Derek Barnes. I know the 4th round linebacker we picked out of Purdue. I want to see how he's going to be at that Mike position, because I know in college, I personally think, just watching him play, I think he was a little bit underdeveloped, that linebacker. I see him right now as only a 2-down linebacker in the NFL. He's going to have to develop. He's a guy that could just play the run really well and get to the quarterback. We don't want to see him in pass coverage. He's obviously going to have to learn how to do that if he wants to play in the NFL. And don't panic, everybody. I'm going to say something, but don't panic. I don't think he's Jared Davis, but he reminds me a lot of Jared Davis. He just reminds me of him, because Jared Davis was a guy who didn't do a lot of blitzing. Who didn't do a lot of blitzing in college, but when he came into the NFL, he became a pretty decent blitzing linebacker. But he was horrible in pass coverage. Jared Davis couldn't cover me running a route, and I'm 275 pounds. That's pathetic. He couldn't. He just couldn't cover guys in the pass, and that's what worries me a little bit about Derek Barnes. I think he's got all the athleticism in the world. I think he'll be able to do it, but he just reminds me a touch of Jared Davis, and I'm just hoping he's not him.
So what you're saying is, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead, bro.
I was just going to say, so what you're saying is we're going to hear a lot of complaints about him.
Well, I don't think listen, I don't think this new regime, Darren, I don't think this new regime is going to put Derek Barnes in a situation where he needs to be covering running backs and tight ends. You know what I mean? Right. I don't think they're going to do that a lot to him. I think they're going to play to his strengths, which is play the run and get to the quarterback, get in the backfield. Now, if they have this guy dropping back in coverage, then you're going to hear a lot of complaints because he's not that good at it. Like, he wasn't asked to do a lot of it at Purdue. So actually, I can't even really say he can't do it. You know what I mean? So I just didn't see him doing it a lot, man. He wasn't asked to do it. So kind of when you see a guy that doesn't do that a lot, it's one of his weaknesses, right? You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to get at? So I just want to see him develop as a linebacker. And a lot of people are like calling it, this guy's the next Ray Lewis. He's the next Chris Spielman. I'm like, take it easy. Like, don't put that on the kid's head already, man. Like, don't put it on that. That's a lot on his plate, man.
They did the same thing to Jared Davis.
Yeah, like, let the kid develop, man, because he played a lot of D-line at Purdue. I think a little bit too much. But Purdue was doing Purdue, man. They were trying to do what's good for the team. That they're not trying to look to the future to see what Lions fans think, right? But he needs to develop as a linebacker before we can really say that this kid's really good, man. It just worries me a bit. I don't think he's Jared Davis. He just reminds me a little bit of him, man. And I'm hoping it's not
right.
true. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
I thought we were a little hard on Jared Davis for a while because the last regime did not put him in the right spots. Because if you guys remember, right, when he rushed the passer, he was like top 10 linebacker
awesome.
Rushing the passer, but they always put him in coverage. It was awful.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
man.
I mean,
So,
he was a good blitzer, but
good
you know,
blitzer.
being a good blitzer and rushing the passer are kind of two different things. I think a lot of people wanted him to turn into an edge rusher, and I just didn't think he had the skill set to just turn into the edge rusher. You know, if he could play edge rusher, he probably would have been one. He played a lot of that in college, and edge position in the NFL that makes a lot of money.
Exactly.
I just don't think he could cover it. And, you know, I was thinking about this the other day. A lot of linebackers, when you think about it, how many linebackers come to the NFL that can't cover and all of a sudden become like really good at coverage?
Right. I think
coaching helps a lot.
Yeah.
Coaching helps.
I think a lot of it is instincts and experience. When it really, you know, a lot of guys, you know, a lot of the great coverage linebackers, you see it coming out of college, or you just see it with instinct, you know, stuff you can't teach. You know, a lot of it is coaching. You know, if your coaching is horrible, I mean, you can't really expect. At some point, I can't blame a guy. You know, I could blame a guy to a certain extent, but at the same time, if the people you're around on a day-to-day basis don't know how to teach you to play your position and don't understand where to put you, it's kind of hard for me to place so much blame on you when everybody around you is just horrible at their jobs.
He's going to benefit where he's at. Where he's at is the Jets. And what they're going to do is they're going to assign him one gap, and he's going to be responsible for that one gap. Now, I think he's more of a right side outside linebacker. Not in a 3-4, but he is a right side outside linebacker. I don't think he's equipped to be a middle linebacker. But the system he played at Florida, they went to a 4-2 a lot, and he was injured. But when he's got some ties to another line, we have Alex Anzalone. When Alex Anzalone was injured a lot, his senior year or his last year at Florida, Jared Davis took a lot of star power, and that really propelled him because he was doing everything Alex Anzalone was doing. But Alex Anzalone was better in coverage. He was the one that was a better playmaker, and Jared Davis was a take your lunch pail to work type of guy. To me, Jared Davis was a second-round pick. But he's going to benefit where he's at. That 4-3 over there, that one, be responsible for one gap. Everybody sucks under Patricia, but he did suck under Jim Caldwell too. So, you know, kudos to him, but he wasn't the guy for us. And I'm praying Derek Barnes is not going to be him.
No, I don't think he is him. I'm just saying, man, like, it just worries me a bit about his pass coverage. Like, I think he's a great he played a ton of D-line, like I said, and Steve-O says it right here, man. Derek Barnes has long arms that hit heavy. He might actually be able to play some edge. He might be able to, but you got to remember, too, he's only 240. He's 240,
And he's like, what,
245 pounds.
6'1"?
He's gonna
He's
get
5'11".
6'1". He's gonna get destroyed by offensive tackles if he's playing on the defensive line. Not in the
Be a
NFL,
big
man.
blitzer.
He could be a good blitzer. I think he's going to be a good blitzer. He might be able to play on the line a little bit, but don't be expecting this guy to be playing any edge, man. Like I don't see him with his hand in the dirt or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, but I just want people just to realize, man, he's not a 3-down linebacker right now. He's got to develop.
Well, you know what? Actually, to your point, you're right. He's gonna develop under a good coach.
100%.
We have one of the best linebacker coaches in the game. I'm gonna get his name in a second, but this linebacker coach developed a couple names: Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith. I just did a video on this dude. This dude came over.
The Bears old linebacker coach.
Yeah.
They had the other guy, that Kwiatkowski guy, whatever his name was.
Yeah, we got this guy, Mark Delhomme. I usually had these names right up, but I didn't have my notes. Mark Delhomme has coached a lot of people. I'm talking, he has took average players, average people, and made them all-stars. You know, he's coached Tamba Ali. He's coached guys in Kansas City. He's the reason Reggie Ragland, I hate to say that name, but Reggie Ragland had 100 tackles before he came over here. So he was really doing his due diligence and really teaching guys. So he's gonna come under the right tutelage, and hopefully we can get that zone situation. I know what you're talking about. You're right, 100%. We can get that zone together. He's gonna be a great linebacker for us.
100%, man. Now we'll go from the defense, pretty much to the offense. Now, on a scale of about 1 to 10, man, how worried are you guys about the offense? I'll start with you, Mike. From a scale of about 1 to 10.
Man,
you know what I mean?
4. I'm not too worried about the offense. I feel like they're going to get their yards. Yes, we have a lack of wide receivers, but that's going to be made up, I believe, by DeAndre Swift as well as Jamal Williams and TJ Hawkinson. I think those guys are going to get their yards. I feel like Jared Goff's going to do better than what the mainstream media believes he's going to do. To me, I feel like the offense will chug. It's just, are they going to get those first downs and those 3rd and shorts? That's the one thing you kind of got to look for, because that's something that we've been terrible at for many, many years. Can they do that? I think they'll do a much better job this year than they have in the past because of the run game. But again, the only really question marks is some of the wide receivers. The offensive line's good too, so I'm not too worried about the offense.
100%, man. Avery, man, a scale of 1 to 10, the offense. How worried are you? Or are you at all?
My mic was muted. My bad. A 2.
It's all good, buddy.
I'm actually a 2 because I believe Jared Goff is going to go off. That's one thing I've always said. Jared Goff is going to go off. I'm going to make the shirts, you know.
That's all. No, for sure, buddy. Yeah. Make those shirts, but I'll buy one.
and my biggest thing is, you know, Campbell's going to bring diversity to the run. He has, you know, Anthony Lynn he's had 3 times where he's at a top 5 rushing attack. 2011 Jets, 2009 Jets, and the Bills when he was an interim coach. He's always had a top rushing attack, and he had diversity within the run. He used traps, he used pulls, he used all that stuff Mike Shanahan is doing over there in San Francisco.
Yep.
He's going to bring that same energy, and he's done it with running backs like Sean Green, Thomas, LaDainian Tomlinson. He's done it with running backs that are lesser known, higher known. He's done it with LaShawn McCoy. So he knows how to deal with talented backs as well as average backs. So, you know, that if he can just control being too conservative and being all those things that undid his career in Chargers land, if he can just get through that play calling where you get too conservative and you be ahead in games. They were ahead in 7 games this past year, and they lost 7 games by getting too conservative in the second half, too conservative in the fourth quarter. So they could have been a 10, 11 win team just off that. So, you know, that's all I'm concerned about is just his play calling. But
100%, brother, 100%, man. Tone, what do you think, buddy? What scale of 1 to 10? How worried are you, if you're worried at all?
I guess I'll go with like a 6. I just have a lot of question marks with his team right now. First of all, and foremost, I need to see how good this offensive line looks. Now, I expect it to be good, but how good does it look?
Right.
How good does Sewell look coming out of the gates? You know, he didn't face a lot of competition in the Pac-12. How does he align to that? We already talked about how he said moving from left to right was a little bit of difficulty. How does he look? How does Jonah look? How does Decker and Ragnar improve? I have concerns about Lynn, of course, as the offensive coordinator. You know, the lack of, creativity and like in the pass game. You know, I trust him in the run game, but outside of that, it's a lot of question marks for me. Was part of he lost that Chargers team a lot of games the past few years, So I'm really concerned how he improves as offensive coordinator. I mean, it's not like it can happen. We already saw with Del Bevel, he took a improvement. I mean, he wasn't that great anyway, but
yeah.
And in the end, it's really part of the pass game. And the real reason I'm concerned about this pass game, well, part of it is also the defense. Because if you have a defense that you can't count on, it's hard for you as an offense to consistently execute your game plan, right?
Right.
Because let's say your game plan is to go out there and run the ball and pound it down your team throat, and you come out the second half and you're down 3-21. For example, at that point as an offense, it's hard for you to execute your game plan if you can't count on your defense to keep the other offense in check to a certain extent. So that's also extends a part of the problem, which is the pass game. I know we talk about, how we got Swift, Williams and Hawkinson, but at the end of the day, the biggest position when it comes to passing the ball outside of quarterback, which we do have a good quarterback, is wide receiver.
Yeah.
Wide receiver gets overrated, gets overpaid, but at the end of the day, tight end is considered by a lot of people to be a value position because they don't usually affect the pass like that. And while I love TJ Hawkinson, wanted him coming out the draft, always thought he was the best pick because at the end of the day, I knew he was going to be a superstar. With that being said, TJ makes his name in being a balanced tight end. He's not Pitts. He's not his teammate Noah Fant. He's not those guys. He's not an elite receiver. He makes his name by being a good receiver and a great blocker. So it kind of worries me relying on these guys. Even Swift to a certain extent. I love Swift. Had him as the best running back coming out of last year's class by far, and I still stand by that. But is he like Kamara in the pass game? Is he Christian McCaffrey? No, it just worries me. Depending on guys who, I don't know if these guys are the most guys you want to be depending on. If we had a guy, Galladay, but we already know Galladay's gonna come back. If we just had, one guy above all of them, I can feel more confident because allows defenses to not pay as much attention to those guys. But when you're relying mostly on those guys and you add in everything else, and while I do expect Jared Goff to be good, I think there's gonna be point in times where Jared Goff is gonna be putting him in situations where they don't want him to be, especially because of that defense. So I just have a lot of questions that may be answered by the end of training camp.
Oh yeah, there's definitely questions out there. Me, myself, I'll put it out about a 4.5, 5. I'm really worried about this wide receiver unit. I don't think the run game and the running backs are going to be a situation at all, man. We had a top 12 O-line last year. I think it shoots up easily into the top 10 with the potential of a top 5. So the running game is not really it doesn't concern me. The running backs don't concern me, especially if they're all healthy. Not too concerned about that, man. It's just Hawkinson doesn't concern me at all, even though, Hawkinson's not out there just to be a receiving tight end. He does everything well, I think. Just this wide receiver unit kind of makes my worry just go up a little bit more at about 4.5, 5. I just don't. If this running game does not work for some reason, and I don't see how it won't, I don't see how it won't, then this wide receiving unit's going to be even worse because we have to have this play action going for Goff for this whole unit to work, I think. We need this running game going for these wide receivers to get open because if they're just going to focus on this running game and just shut it right down and they're going to single up on our wide receivers, Goff's going to struggle. I think Goff's going to struggle because of our wide receivers. That's not a Jared Goff thing. It's just these wide receivers. It just concerns me a little bit. But I think they'll figure it out. Anthony Lynn will put him in hopefully in some good spots, and he's got some other guys there helping him out with this offense. So
can I piggyback on that?
Yeah, go ahead, Avery.
So this is a good chance, a good opportunity for Goff Oh, the Chargers blew 5 leads, so they won 7 games last year and blew 5 leads. That's scary right there. That might be a good team this year.
Yeah.
But Goff had yeah, that's scary. Goff can probably make his own career here, and what I'm saying, he can make for the latter part of his career. He needed a good coach, or he needed a system, or he needed this, or he needed that, or he needs a great wide receiver. Last year, he had no Brandon Cooks. He had no deep threat. He had just Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was injured a couple games. This is a chance for Jared Goff to really make a receiver. And I'm gonna say this about the greats. The greats make a receiver. Your Favres, you're this, you're that. You're Aaron Rodgers. You know, we were just talking about Sharon just a while ago. Yeah. They make great receivers. So if Jared Goff can get out of his comfort zone and stop depending on, you know, how Stafford had Megatron, Stafford had this, Stafford had Tate, you know, legit a receiver. Now you have to make a receiver. You have to depend on a guy like a Mon-Ra to come out there, a Williams, all these unknowns. It's your time to write the narrative now. So I just seen an interview with Michael Brockers, and he was interviewed by Aqib Talib, and it was like, so how JG looking? How Jared Goff looking? And he was like, look, Jared acting like he owned the place, man. He's exuding confidence. He believes in himself. He's coaching young guys up. He's telling them how to run routes, what he expects from them, like a leader. He acting like he's not acting like, I'm running the show. No, he's really like, look, I want you to run this way. I want this dig route right here.
And Jared Goff, sorry to cut you off, but Jared Goff went early with the rookies too. He showed up early He went early too, which is a great sign.
Right, and he flew guys out to L.A. to throw with him, the Victor Boldens, the Tom Kennedy. He flew those guys out to throw with him. So I'm really counting on him, and Williams as well, Perriman as well. I'm really counting on him and his leadership, this maturation, this second chance quarterback thing that's going on in the NFL, where you sucked with this team, you're gonna be amazing. Because when talented people have support, talented people have, you know, confidence in themselves, they just get better. You know, I think he's going to probably do as well, if not better, than Carson Wentz, because he's talented. He's going to have a good support system. He's not going to be attacked about his throwing motion. He's not going to be attacked about his decision. He's not going to have someone chiding him every time, every step of the moment. So he can make some guys really better.
100%, man. Awesome response, buddy. Here's a question from Jorge right here, man. Hashtag to the panel. Going a little bit early to this one, but I like this question. Hashtag panel. Since Rodgers is back and probably angry, if any one of you were coaching the Lions, how would you defend against him? Mike, you don't need to answer because I already know what you're going to do. But we got to have Mike talk, though. Mike, what would you do?
Mike gonna run on the field and choke slam him.
Yeah, I think I'd run on the field and I would choke slam him. That's exactly what I would do, and that's a dang good answer. I 100% agree with that, man.
Yeah, man. I think, you know what? To defend Aaron Rodgers, I think there really is no defense. Personally, I don't know what a good defense is against him over the years. I just know probably one thing that I would try to do with Aaron Rodgers is when he gets out of the pocket, I think he's the most dangerous. That's when he becomes dangerous, and then he starts playing street ball. And then when he starts playing street ball, he's unstoppable. He makes these crazy throws that I've never seen in my life. It's like, how did he make that throw between two safeties and a corner and into the breadbasket of Davante Adams? Right? You know what I mean? That's probably the one thing that I would try to do with Davante Adams. I would try to bracket him inside. I would not let him try to get outside. It's the only thing I think you can do, but he's still going to torch you. If you give him any type of time, and then if you give him time, he's going to kill you. And then if you blitz on him, he's going to find the open spot. So it's there. I personally don't think there really is a defense for Aaron Rodgers. You just got to hope and pray and keep him inside the pocket, man. Keep him inside that pocket and just get to him. I think that's really the only thing. Avery, what do you think?
So I'm gonna put my guy in a spy, and a guy I really trust to be in a spy is Tavai. I trust Tavai to be able to track and be able to knock the ball loose, and then track him down when he's going on the run.
Right.
Now, I want my coverage guys, my high percentage passers, pass coverage guys, I want them dropping back. I want to send four at all times and keep one guy in the spy. I want my linebacker and Collins, Jamie Collins. He's proven that he can cover. He's proven that he can be a guy in the two deep safety set that can actually stop that middle of the field right before the first down marker. If my corners are able to cover, and I believe Melifonwu is going to take a huge step and maybe get that second corner spot. Maybe Dunbar. Those guys, if they can man up on his favorite receiver, Devontae Adams, his bigger receiver, and take him away, we can take away one receiver. I believe you take away half the field, and then you have Tavai track him down, and we win that game. And you try to play contain too on the outsides. That A-gap pressure is going to be huge. That pressure in the middle is going to be huge. But if he gets out the pocket, that's his go-to. We got to get Tavai on there, and Tavai going to be an old school Palomalu, baby. He's going to knock him down and make sure he knows that sideline is not his friend.
Yeah, 100%, man. Tone, is there any way to stop Aaron Rodgers? Avery had a really good one there, man. What do you say?
It is very difficult to stop Aaron Rodgers. From a Lions point of view, first of all, my D-line, I would tell him play run, then pass, and make sure you never break contain. Never break contain. You play run, then pass, and for my linebacker guard, I actually said the opposite. I would say don't bite much on the play action, similar to what we did a few years ago to the Rams that the Patriots went and evolved it and ran against the Rams in that Super Bowl. One of the biggest things they did to disrupt that Rams offense is that Rams offense was they benefited so much off the play action. So what Patricia did originally, he was kind of like, you know what? Don't pay much attention to the run right now. Take your run, make your pass reads, play pass, then run for my linebackers. And I had the D-line I had to step up and shut down the run on themselves. And it worked to a certain extent. We still lost that game, but I would do a similar thing with Rodgers, because a lot of things, one of the most dangerous things about the Packers offense is they're efficient at pretty much everything, right? They can run, they can pass, they can go deep, go short, do anything. They can play from ahead, they can play from behind. They got a good offensive corner. They got everything. So what you got to do, you got to take away things bit by bit. First thing you got to do is take away that run game. You got to eliminate the run game. So for your defensive line is going to have a real heavy task. That's why I say play run, then pass, because, in terms of pass rush, you're probably not going to get there that quickly anyway. But you play run, then pass on terms of your D-line. Make sure they always have contain. A guy like Trey could definitely do that. Make sure they always have contain for your linebackers. Don't bite too much on the run. Make you play pass and then play run. And for your DBs, first thing I'm going to do, I'm running back. I'm going to run bracket coverage on Devontae Adams pretty much all game. Never letting that man get a chance to see a one-on-one. Never. And I might even shed a little bit of safety help to his side because I'm not confident in his other guys can make any plays. I'm not confident in Marquez. I don't got hands, Valdez Scantlin. That man can't catch a ball to save his life. I'm not really scared of, forget what that tight end's name is.
Robert Tonyan.
Yeah, Tonyan. I'm not really scared of those guys. The only guy I'm really scared about is Devontae Adams. I'll take him away. In terms of passing, the only thing you really got to worry about is Rodgers just making a superhero play. And that's going to happen every once in a while. It's going to happen every once in a while. It's that when you play a great quarterback, you're never really going to truly shut them down. They're going to make a great play every once in a while. All I need to do is just make sure those great plays happen very, very rarely. So, have my D-line, have my D-line play heavy run, linebackers, drop back fast, double bracket Adams all game, send a little bit of safety help to his side, and just force the rest of his guys to make a play.
I think he made a great point that they got everything. So just take away one thing bit by bit, because last year they led the league in time of possession. With 26 minutes, they had the ball a lot. They had the ball running. They could run a high volatile offense where it's hurry up. They could run an offense where it's run. And a lot of their formations are based on rub coverage, rub routes, and getting open free. A lot of trips right, trips left. And if you don't understand my terminology, look up trips right and trips left, because
Yeah.
A lot of them try to just have crossing routes and mesh routes to break a receiver open. This is what they did to Okudah, and Okudah gave up too much cushion. We have to take away one person in that receiver room. That's it. We own him all game. I don't want him off the line. And I think that speaks to his point, too, about Rodgers can do a little bit of everything, run outside, and this, that, and the third. But if we have the ball for a long period of time, 26 minutes a game, 30 minutes a game, if we can, and complete drives, he'll never see the field. So that's a good answer, too.
For sure, man. That's some great answers from all you guys, man. Now we'll go from offense to the defense. It's kind of the same question. From a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you guys about this defense? I'll start with you, Mike.
Let's go ahead and go with the 8 on this one. I am definitely worried about this defense for sure. The interior defensive line, I'm not. I actually think they're really good on the interior, actually fairly stacked. But when it comes to the linebackers, I'm worried about that. I really, really am. I've seen what happened last year, just constantly getting beat. It never ended. How are they going to perform? How are they going to do with new regime here, with the new scheme here? Can they do better? And in that safety position, man, I'm worried about the Will Harris position. He scares me, man. And maybe Dean Marlowe can come in there and win it out, or I'd love for Melifonwu to win it. But, man, just getting beat in the back end is something I hate seeing. So, yeah, I'm pretty worried, man.
100%, buddy. Avery, man, a scale of 1 to 10, defense. How worried are you?
Over 10,000.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I think if I'm being realistic, I'm more concerned about the secondary more than anything. I think we're gonna probably have the best front seven in the league because we have a great, phenomenal linebackers coach, D-line coach, just a phenomenal defensive coordinator. But we have a young secondary, and with that young secondary, you're gonna take some lumps. I don't know whether we're going to be a team that is a bend but don't break, or we're going to be a team that tries to lock down. And when I understand that, that's when I'll understand how Okudah will grow and play and what will manifest for his career. But right now, I haven't had no time to see film and what they try to do or what they try to take away. So right now, it's just so up in the air. It's over 10,000 for me.
Oh, I hear you, man. Tone, scale of 1 to 10, this defense?
I guess I'll go with like an 8. I don't know. My real question with this defense, I just have a lot of questions, really. It's a lot of guys I really need to see something from. Let's just talk about some of the draft picks. Got to see what Levi looks like. I like this tape. Been watching him since before this draft even happened. But a couple things, he didn't face the most competition in terms of interior linemen at Washington. The Pac-12 is already known for its offensive linemen. We got Sewell. That was pretty much it.
Right.
And he took a year off. He took a year off. He went to the Senior Bowl on day one. He looked kind of rusty, even though he was going against mostly Creed Humphrey and Quentin Miners. So he went against some top interior offensive linemen, but he was
manhandling those guys at that Senior Bowl, though. He was manhandling those guys.
He had some really good reps, but he also had like some really bad reps, and they kind of see how he gets stronger in terms of not really stronger. I'm really interested to see how they use him because I think he could really play a 3 and a 4. The problem was that Washington, they played him a lot as a nose tackle, even though he's like 285, 90 pounds. But Washington
he won't be doing that much here.
Horrible decisions, and they kept playing him a nose tackle, which really made it harder to evaluate him because that's not going to be his role in the NFL at all. But I'm ready to see how he develops mostly as a pass rusher. A lot of people talk about how light he is, but also he has some really good power in his hands. It's way more than you really expect from a guy of his size. That's why some people call him, a little bit. Some people compare him to Aaron Donald because of that, but Aaron Donald comparison is kind of crazy. It's Aaron Donald.
That'd be awesome, though. Imagine.
Yeah. Really see how Aleem McNeil does. In college he was mostly a run guy, even though he always had the athletic traits to be more of a pass guy. I'm also really interested to see his stamina. If you see a lot of games, there was a lot of games where he would kind of go off a field for extended period of time. Really see how his stamina is. And I also heard apparently that apparently his senior season, he was around 340 pounds. Reports came out that, it was really big. Reports came out, he measured out around 320 at his pro day, I think it was. Yeah, it was around his pro day, I think it was. He measured around 320. How is that difference in weight going to help? affect him. He's going to loot. It's going to allow him to be more athletic. But how's it going to help him in terms of his anchor in the run game? And because you're gonna get double teamed a lot as a nose tackle. So how you gonna do against those double teams? I also want to see how he improves as a passer. He didn't get the most opportunities to show it, but at the same time, when he was out there, he didn't show that much. Even though he has the athletic traits to do it, and he's lost weight, so he has more of the athletic traits to do it. So we had to see how he really develops in terms of that. Deshaun Hand is going to be a really big thing for this offensive line, because defensive line, because like I said earlier, we don't have any proven interior defensive line pass rushers. Nobody. Everybody is kind of a question mark right now. Now, while I think Levi could do it, and while I think McNeil can do it, these guys ain't played in the NFL before. So
yeah, we have to take it easy with thinking that these guys are coming in to be Reggie White and Warren Sapp. I get that. I totally understand that. They're rookies.
Hand is the only one, he's the one that we've seen do it now. He's dealt with a lot of injuries, and mostly just injuries. He dealt with a lot of injuries. Interested to see how his scheme change affects him. Patricia's scheme was a lot more two gapping and about gap control and protect first, attack second. While this defense is going to be a lot more one gap and attack and getting up quick, getting up field quick. See how that's going to affect him, because he can honestly do both. If you ever seen, it's like 6'5", 297. Real strong, long arm speed. He's also insanely athletic. So I'm trying to see. I think a one gap defense might actually help him more. Allow him to use his athleticism more. Trying to see how he takes a step as a pass rusher. Because if he takes a step as a pass rusher, then it's really gonna help us in terms of our defense line's future or as a trade asset. Those guys. Everybody's looking for a guy like Deshaun Hand. Anybody's looking for a guy who can potentially rush the passes interior defensive lineman. That's why guys like Derek Brown and Javon Kinlaw last year, that's why those guys go so high, because those guys are a dime a dozen. And if you got one of those guys or a guy who could be potential to be that guy, those guys go for a pretty penny. Talking about the edge, I got to see how Akawara looks. I know he lost. I think the biggest thing with him, he's lost a lot of weight, looked a lot more explosive. At the same time, it kind of hurt his run defense. How does he gain some more muscle to make up for that weight that he lost? With Romeo. Julian, his question is, how does his leg look? Because that's really going to help him for his health and his play on the field, specifically in the run. He was really bad in the run in college. We watched him, he got destroyed in the run. Now he played against the top offensive tackles, but guys like Andrew Thomas, they was moving him. And part of that is because his legs ain't that strong. His legs have never been that strong. He's even in college days. If you ever watch his interviews, he talks about how his legs wasn't that strong. And then he got the leg injury after that. So, that's not the greatest thing for his in terms of leg strength. But he's gonna have to improve on his leg strength so he can really help set the edge. And, in terms of the run, in terms of the pass, it's gonna be just really just technique development, He's kind of mostly just like a power rusher, trying to go down the middle of guys. And that works in college, but that does not work in the NFL at all, unless you're like Myles Garrett or something. But
for
also
sure,
Trey Flowers.
Man. It's going to be a lot. Bro, this defense, to me, is going to be it's going to be a little bit suspect this year. Just this year it's going to be a building. It's going to be a building phase. I'm going to give it about an 8.5. On the worry scale here. I don't know where the playmakers are going to come from really on defense. I think, we got Romeo. He'd be that guy. Obviously, man, he was making some nice plays last year. Who's going to be the next guy? Who's stepping up to be the playmaker? I think we got to take it easy on these rookies, man, thinking these guys are coming in and going to be bosses in year one. I just don't think they're going to. I think guys like Levi and McNeil will possibly start. I think Levi and Hand will have a heavy rotation if Hand even stays healthy. Hand stays healthy, he makes his team. He might even win a spot. That's the thing. Because I'm not sure they want to put two rookies on that D line right away, man, in a 3-4, because I think that'll be a little bit dangerous, man. So if Hand's healthy, he wins that right defensive end spot over Levi, and then you got McNeil in the middle, and you got Brockers on the left side there as that 3-4 start off. But who's the next playmaker? Because I don't see a playmaker in the secondary. I don't see him yet. Who is it? You know what I mean? Is it going to be Oru'Warrior? Is Okudah going to step up? There's so many questions. This safety room, absolutely, I think, is one of the worst safety rooms I have ever seen in my life, to tell you the truth. It just is. I was looking at it today again, man, and I was like, wow. I'm like, who is the playmaker here? Like, is Tracy Walker gonna step up? Like, Dean Marlowe, Will Harris, that's what's gonna be pitted. It's gonna be Dean Marlowe versus Will Harris, man, pitted up in training camp.
Battle of the year.
That to me scares me to death.
Yeah,
Dean Marlowe was not good. Micro Mike dropped a nice video too about that. Dean Marlowe was not very good last year in Buffalo. If you go look at his stats, man, he gave up like 18 yards a catch when they were targeting him. He's not that good. And I've talked to a lot of Buffalo fans. They're like, thank you for taking him off our hands, man. And I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, you're welcome. I just swore there. I'm like, you're welcome. I'm like, you know what I mean? So, but he wasn't that good in Buffalo, man. And I don't think he's horrific, but he just wasn't that good. And then if those guys don't pan out, you got Bobby Price and Jalen Elliott, 2 undrafted guys that don't play. So that safety room really, really scares me. And I'm kind of shocked that they never went out and picked somebody up because they lost Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker went to the Cowboys. He just showed up there today, so he's there. But I was a little bit surprised we didn't try to bolster that secondary room a little bit, especially the safety room. And it's bad. And if this D-line does not help at all this year, and it could struggle because you got 2 rookies on there that a lot of people are counting on. And if it doesn't pan out right away, I'm just saying, Avery, if it doesn't pan out right away, it's going to be a struggle, man. This defense, hey, we could talk about schemes, we could talk about coaches, but we have to talk about facts. This defense was 31st last year, and the year before was like 29th. Yeah, it's a whole new regime, man, but still that stink of that defense is going to be there. And they better do something about it, man. It's gonna be a struggle this year, bro.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a struggle.
And you might want to look out for D'Angelo Amos, undrafted agent out of Virginia. He's now he had some interceptions. He had 3 interceptions, and he didn't record a lot of. He had 47 tackles. He was kind of an unknown in Virginia. Didn't do well. Didn't stand out. He was a transfer from James Madison. That's right. He only had like one year on that team. And Aubrey Pleasant should not go unnoticed. He turned a wide receiver.
True.
DB with Dunbar. So what you're saying is fact. But I think
I know.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't mean it like that. No, I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. It's just, man, it just scares me, bro. And another guy you got to keep an eye on, who I actually liked in the draft this year, but went undrafted, was Devontae Beckett. That kid, a little bit of a tweener at linebacker and safety, but he was a Virginia Tech, got a little bit of trouble with the weed, got kicked off the team, transferred to Marshall, and he became like this baller at Marshall, man. So he was a guy that probably should have been playing at a higher level, got a little bit of trouble, slipped under the cracks. We ended up picking him up. He could be a guy that might make the team and special teams right away, and then he might be a guy that might be able to crack that safety room because that safety room is putrid. I'm telling you right now, it actually makes me sick thinking about it, man. It does, man. It makes me really sick. I don't know about you, Mike. Mike,
I don't like it, man. Y'all know I don't like.
Yeah, I know. You know,
Tracy Walker had a down year last year, but he had a good year his rookie year. Can he bounce back?
Right.
That's a question mark. We all know about Will Harris. I don't even know if there's a question mark there, man. This dude is just terrible, and so it's scary. But I also understand it's going to take some time to get this team to that level we want the defense to be at because we didn't have that many draft picks last year. And my hope is maybe Melifonwu can get some time in safety position because he's a big guy. Maybe he can do it.
Yeah, 100%, brother. Yeah. You know what I mean? We just need – it's a little bit of a hope and a prayer, but I'm so sick of talking about hopes and prayers for this team, man. I want some continuity, man. That's all. I'm just asking for that. It's always hope. We're always hoping something happens as a Lions fan. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of the hope. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I hope this D-line works out. I hope the secondary doesn't get burned like we think we're gonna. I want to walk into a season one day, man, and go, man, I can't wait until these guys just smash people in the face, man. Like I want to be able to say that, like, you know. And right now we're just not there yet, man. I think this new regime will build that. I just think it won't be this year. That's all, guys. That's all I'm kind of saying.
I can't relate, Mark. I don't got a
What do you
hopeful
mean, buddy?
bone in my body.
You what?
I don't got a hopeful bone in my body. I ain't
Oh, we know that.
Oh, we know that, brother.
I've
We
never
know
hoped.
that.
I always
know
like,
that.
oh, they're gonna be bad this year. Yep, it's gonna be bad
They're
this year.
gonna be, man. They're gonna be bad.
I came in there last year. I was like, we going 1-3 first 4 games. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, and it's not like, and we're not trying to spread no hate here or no negativity, man. It is what it is. Like, this team's not ready yet, man. They're not. And we've seen this in the past. We get excited about new regimes. We get excited about new coaches. And we're like, yeah, man, we're going to be great. You have to sit back and you have to look at the big picture. And you look at these players and go, oh my God, man, these guys are all cast-offs from other. A lot of them are. They're cast-offs. And then we're relying on heavily on rookies. That's not good. We're relying on guys that have never really done it in the past, man. Like, I think they went the smart way and they picked up guys as smart as they could. Brad Holmes did it the right way. He did. It just and I hate using the word tank. I don't think they're tanking by any stretch, but I'm telling you, they didn't pick guys up to win. Not this year. I tell you that, man. They did it the right way. They did it the right way, and I think next year is going to be a whole different thing with the way they have a lot of money lined up for them, like 70-something million, possibly more with cuts, multiple double-digit draft picks.
Yeah. No, draft gonna be real.
It's the future, man. The future is going to be good. Yeah, man, for sure. But on to Kelvin, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm going to go to the next thing. We're going to switch it up a bit. Kelvin Johnson.
Have y'all heard? Speaking of draft, have y'all heard what's happening in college football right now?
What's going on?
Some insane news came out that Texas and Oklahoma might be moving to the SEC.
What?
Now,
really?
And for anybody who doesn't know, there's like 3 college. Texas is like the most valuable college football program on earth. They're like worth over $1 billion.
Right.
So that's a huge move. And the reason a lot of people think it's going to happen is they think the NCAA is not lasting much longer. So they think the NCAA might get disseminated. We don't know what's going on with that. Conferences might really switch up. So, players might be starting getting the compensation. So we don't really know how it's going to affect the draft, but there's some stuff going on in college football right now.
Wow, I didn't even know that, man. Well, that's big news to keep an eye on. So, man, wow. We'll have to keep an eye on that, brother, for sure, man. I didn't hear any of that stuff. That happened. Yeah. Was that today? They mentioned that, or what?
The news broke out like around a few days ago. It broke out a few days ago. All of a sudden, and it was just completely random. All of a sudden, it came out. Wow. Texas and Oklahoma is just applied to move to the SEC.
Wow.
They're trying to get that money. They're trying
to get that money. It's all about
money.
Yep. I was talking about this. There's only 3 college football programs worth over $1 billion. Yeah. Alabama's one of those programs.
Yeah, for sure.
Where the money is.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll go to the next topic, man. Calvin Johnson was back in the news again. I'm getting so sick of hearing this, but I know we have to talk about it because, hey, man, he's first ballot Hall of Famer. But man, he was on a podcast and he was asked if he was going to say anything about the Detroit Lions organization. His comments were, "I got nothing to say." So, and then apparently there was another comment made towards Rod Wood that if you saw him in the building, he'd just walk right by him. It just seems like this every time we get a good Calvin Johnson news about how the organization and him are going to get together and, hash things out with this money, whatever. It just, you hear something bad. So apparently Calvin's not saying nothing at the Hall of Fame speech about the Detroit Lions. Me personally, I don't even care anymore. We know you played here, Calvin. I don't know what the big deal is, man. You're crying over $1 million. You're still whining about it. I don't understand when you possibly made like $160 million from this organization and the perks you got. Like, you didn't win here. No one's blaming you. You know what I mean? We're not putting all the blame on you, but for a guy that was a mute for 9 years here, Calvin Johnson, I barely heard the man talk. Now he's an open book. I just don't understand it. Avery, man, what do you think about this Calvin Johnson news? Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah. I'm on the counterculture. Pay the man.
He should be paid. He should be. I get that.
Yeah. it really bothers me that they haven't done their due diligence to fix this. And I know I'm in the minority here.
No.
You know, I just think if you're the Lions organization, and like Richard Sherman was trying to get here some time ago, and apparently he was calling players on the team to talk to, like, so what's it like over here? Because he didn't have an issue with the city. He was just asking, what's it like? Now, of course, we had Patricia, and there was some cancerous stuff going on in the locker room and on the field. But he was inquiring about the team. When you do bad business like this, and it starts to get headway, and it starts to combust, and starts to become public news. Now you put your future contracts in a bad position. Oh, y'all did this to Calvin, the superstar, guy that got replay. Like, oh, y'all did that to him. So why don't you mend the fences for the future? At least mend the fences so people can come here and be like, oh, they're a legit organization, because we know what clown organizations look like. You know, I think players especially know. They'll call their friends. Should I go over there? And it's not even about the city no more. There's not, like, they know they'll play in Cleveland, they'll play in Jacksonville. There's teams that go to playoff games as smaller markets. And the money, just think about the Galladay situation where he rejected he was like, no, y'all fucked over. I mean, y'all messed over Cal. Galladay, y'all messed over Cal. I had 3,000 yard receivers. Come on now. Come on, man. Come on, man. Just get this done. You want to be you already look like a clown for hiring Campbell. To the national world, you look like a clown for hiring Campbell. Right. Do some right business. This is what this is about.
Yeah, Micro Mike, man. Well, what do you think about?
You're not in the minority, man. I've been on Calvin Johnson's side since day one. I mean, I'm talking about last year when everybody was hating on Calvin Johnson. I said, look, man, Calvin Johnson's one of the most humble guys on the planet. Now, if he's speaking out, there's a reason for it. The dude he's not a bad dude at all. He's not a diva. He's anything like that. And when you shout me out and you shout my kids out, of course, I'm going to be on your side. And that's the bottom line. And look, pay the man. The guy was the face of the Lions for many years. You know, how would this team be different if we didn't have Calvin Johnson? Well, would we have all the great offenses we did have? Probably not. And the dude was getting beat up, tore up. I mean, he was getting hit all the time. So I'm all about, paying Calvin Johnson. I have no problem with it, man. And he's a good dude. Am I tired of hearing about this in the news? Yeah, I'm tired of hearing about it. I just want it to be over with. Get Calvin Johnson like they did to Barry Sanders, and let's move on.
Yeah, it took 20 years, man, to get back with Barry. It took forever to get back with Barry. And the thing is, too, I'm not trying to kill Calvin over this, man. It's just like he made so much money here. They asked him to, he retired. I hate how Lions fans call him a quitter. He's not a quitter. No. The guy got beat up for 9 years. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it anymore, man. So he retired.
Seen his fingers?
Yeah, his fingers looks like this. It's like coming out of the other way. The guy is not. That dude took so many hits, man. He did not quit. That's ridiculous.
So man. It's ridiculous that they call him a quitter, but it's just, man. They asked him to pay back a little bit of money. It was a $16 million bonus. I think they asked him to give back $1 million and change. He did. It's just to me, he was a guy that never spoke. And then it's almost like, okay, it's only $1 million. I think it's petty on both sides. I don't know why the organization asked for $1 million and change back, to tell you the truth. And I don't know why Calvin is crying about it at the same time. I just think it's a little bit ridiculous. I know you don't mess around with another man's money. I get it. But he did retire. But he retired. He never quit. Never quit. Don't ever call Calvin a quitter, man. He's one of my favorites, man. So
yeah, he's my favorite too, man.
He's one of my favorites. I got posters everywhere of the guy, man. I got a man cave dedicated to the guy down here, man. So it's just like I'm just sick of hearing it, man. It's a thing. I wish both sides would get together. There he is.
Signed Megatron, man. I love me some Megatron.
For sure, man. So what do you think about it there, Tone?
So I'm kind of on both sides of this situation. At one hand, I'm kind of just tired of hearing, because I've been hearing Calvin just talk crap about regime that's not even here anymore for years. I'm kind of like, what's the point at this anymore? Like Rob Wood and all those people are gone. Because I remember he was going to other teams' training camps. He was like, man, the Lions wasn't nothing like this. I'm just kind of like, I don't get why he's still talking about that anymore. But about the money, you know, and a lot of people, when they talk about, they go like, well, he didn't fulfill his contract, this, that, and the third. What you're doing is applying real world concepts.
Tone, sorry. Just sorry for a minute. Sorry. Vincent, bro, this isn't a black and white issue, bro. We're not doing that crap here. It's not a black issue. It's not a white issue. It has nothing to do with Matt Stafford. We're not going that avenue, bro. Leave that crap for somebody else, man.
And Rob Woods
that stuff.
Here.
Don't put that crap on my channel. This has nothing to do with Kelvin being black and Matt Stafford being white. It has nothing to do with that. So leave that crap to the side, bro. Come on. Yeah. Grow up. So go ahead, Tone. Sorry, dude.
But I think what we often try to do, especially when it comes to contracts, we try to apply what happens in the real world, what happened at a normal job to the NFL. And we've consistently seen that the NFL is not a normal job. And at the end of the day, yes, it's only 1 million, but it's about the principle of it. And especially the other players, that stuff matters. Players see how organizations treat other players, right? If I see you treated this guy bad, it might discourage me from wanting to go to your organization, especially when you haven't had much success in your history, you know, and now you got legends like Barry Sanders took years to get back. Yeah. Calvin still isn't big back. That doesn't look good from an outside perspective as a fan or a player about trying to come to your organization. At the end of the day, it's about how you look, and that doesn't make your organization look good. And people say it's just 1 million. If it's just 1 million, then just give them the money. If it's not that big, the Lions have tons of money. You trying to tell me they can't give him just a little bit of money that he want back to just repair the relationship?
It's about the respect. You think Calvin really cares about $1 million? Nope.
Calvin don't
it's
care
about the respect. The way I'm sure he's looking. I put my body, I put everything on the line, and this is how you treat me when I leave. Get out of here, man.
When he did that interview, like what made him retire, he said, you know, they didn't want to re-sign Sue, and that's when I knew they didn't want to win. Like, I mean, it wasn't just, oh, Sue rejected whatever from us. Yeah, he rejected what you offered him, but you had a chance to counter offer and you didn't. You know, it's certain things like the respect, like it was what he's talking about. Like Baltimore gets most respect in the league because the way they treat players, the way they handle players. Baltimore and Buffalo now is just like a nest egg for players. Like, and it's not players just running the show and getting coddled like babies. It's more like mutual respect. I'm gonna treat you like a man, the coaching staff, the GMs. We're gonna do business. We're gonna cut and duck business. We're not gonna get over on you. The Lions sell cars. You sell vehicles. Like your name is everywhere in America. It's not like you sell ketchup, like like Pittsburgh. You sell cars. Like you always got.
I know. For sure, man. I get it, man. Speaking of wide receivers, man, we're going to talk a little bit about this guy. Might as well stick with the wide receiver group. And I think we only got maybe one or two more questions, so we're going on a pretty good pace here. Rashad Perryman, man. Now, you guys consider this guy. I'm about to drop a video on this guy because personally, I get caught up in these arguments, okay, on social media, and sometimes they're my own fault, but I do them anyways. I got into a 24-hour battle with this one guy about Rashad Perryman, whether he was a bust or not. What do you guys think about this guy? Do you guys think this guy's a bust? Now, personally, I'll go later, but there's a couple versions of a bust, and I'll use that a little bit. But what do you think Rashad Perryman is? Is he a bust? Micro Mike, what do you think he is?
I think when I think of a bust, I think the expectations this player is through the roof, and then he does absolutely nothing. Does anyone really have expectations through Rashad Perryman through the roof?
Nope.
Or did he get a multi-year deal or a giant contract? No. I know it's across the board, so no, I don't think he's a bust from that facet. I don't think anyone has that high expectations. I think when it comes to Rashad Perryman, we think that hopefully he can contribute. That's it. That's really it. I mean, I'm not expecting this guy to be the number one or anything like that. I just think him to be another guy. So I don't think he's a bust. It's It's not like we put a lot of capital into this dude financially or a draft pick. Even we didn't draft him or anything. So no, I don't think he's a bust. It's a 1-year deal.
Yeah, Avery, man, what do you think, buddy, about Rashad Perriman?
It's interesting. Okay, so Baltimore drafted him to be a number 1 receiver, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out. He been with 2 other teams, the Jets and Tampa Bay, and not the Lions. Tampa Bay put him in a different situation in the slot, and then when their 2 main receivers got injured, he was working with a coach that got him 600 yards. And, he had 100 yards every game for 4 games straight. So I think he can rebuild his career. And one thing he should model himself after. I know this is a quarterback, but Alex Smith. Alex Smith played 5 seasons for San Francisco. He was in a dysfunctional organization. He was around dysfunctional people, not people on the same page. The communication was off. Everything was bad in that organization. A breath of fresh air in Kansas City allowed him to be better. Now, the one thing I would say Rashad Perriman didn't do was he should have stayed another year with Tampa Bay. He shouldn't have went for big money with the Jets. He shouldn't have put that much pressure on him, because when you pay a guy, people watch who you pay, and people expect when you pay big money. You can't get paid Calvin Johnson money or Julian Edelman money and you producing like you Tom Kennedy. That's not how it works. So is he a bust? He's still in the league. So you can't call him a bust. He's still there.
Right.
But his trajectory right now depends on him. He's still got a way to go. Now, if he get cut from the Lions and he's out for another year or so, just sitting at home, you got every opportunity. You've been in every situation.
Right.
You had success. You had this first-round pick, and you lost. You a bust. If you at home and it's done, it's over with, you a bust.
Yeah. Tone, man, what do you think about Perriman?
Yeah, Perriman's a buzz. Honestly, never been the biggest fan of Perriman. He went to school at UCF, one of my favorite. That's one of the colleges I watch. Love me some UCF. He played for them when it was horrible. I think they went like 0-13 one year.
They were really bad, yeah.
Yeah, beside the point. I just never liked them because only thing I liked the speed, but that was it. I never saw anything else other than the speed. Even when he was coming out, there was those reports that he got timed at one point at like a 4.21. Like it was supposed to be something crazy. Went out there.
Yeah.
And the problem with Perriman is what happens with a lot of receivers is they draft speed. They draft undeveloped speedy receivers. And you see it a lot. You see it with guys like John Ross. Marquise Brown is kind of in that cut from that same cloth. These undeveloped, Corey Coleman from a few years ago from Oregon, if I remember right. A lot of these undeveloped speedy receivers, they're not really asked to run a diverse route tree in college. And hands are usually on more of the question mark side. So they get to the NFL and they start to struggle. And that's kind of what happened to him. If I remember right, he also had some injuries that happened.
Lots.
I think he had I'm pretty sure he had like a lot of injuries, especially in Baltimore.
Yeah, he didn't even play his first year.
Yeah.
He didn't even play his first year as a rookie.
Yep.
He didn't even play one snap in 2015, man. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom, and then I'll end it.
Yeah, if I remember right, that was like a soft tissue injury too.
Yeah.
But the problem with him now is he's never had the skill set developed to be an NFL wide receiver, and now he's lost a lot of the athleticism that got him into the NFL just because of age and injuries. And my expectations for him are kind of low right now. I mean, he's never been a route runner. He's always had kind of these tic-tac drop issues that plague a lot of receivers. Yeah. And my expectations for him are just very low, even for this team's wide receivers core. And there's no real wide receivers I'm concerned about. But
yeah, for sure.
I just don't have confidence in him.
Yeah,
no, for sure, man. I got two. There's 2 different versions of a bust, man. I think a bust you could bust out of the NFL totally, and then you could bust out of your draft status. Yeah, I think he's completely busted out of his draft status. Yes, he's still on an NFL team. I think it's strictly because of his athleticism and how fast he is. But I'm about to drop a video on this guy because of this guy that I fought with on Twitter. I got so heated that I went back. I had to look at all his game logs. I went back and looked at some of his actual footage on how he played. This man can't run routes. He can't run routes. All he does is run straight. That's all he does. He can't run a route. He has horrible hands. He has horrible hands. His game logs. He didn't play in 2015. 2016, he was absolutely horrific. So the Ravens kicked him. He went to Cleveland, did nothing in Cleveland. He did absolutely nothing. He might have had 2 good games, maybe. He had like 2 touchdowns as a Brown. Then he goes to Tampa. Didn't do nothing until like the last 5 weeks of the season where he went crazy because Chris Godwin got hurt. I think Mike Evans got hurt.
Yeah.
So he went nuts. And shout out to him. For
no, Jameis slinging that rock.
Him and Winston won me a fantasy football league because of that. Like back in 2019, won me a league because Winston was dropping back 800 times, and Perryman was the main guy, and he was catching everything. He was actually played really well. And then, like Avery said, he chased the bag. He went and got money. He went and got money in New York, and he was terrible. He was getting outplayed by Denzel Mims, Braxton Berrios.
No, Anderson on that team. No,
and Anderson was
Jamison Crowder,
Carolina at the time.
Crowder.
And then Jamison Crowder. And I'm like, this guy's just. I think he's trying to. I think he's got literally 1 foot out the door. He might not even make this roster. I think if Quintez Cephas passes him, which I think could happen, we might not see Rashad Perryman on his team. All depends on how they feel about these 2 undrafted free agents. If they come out and ball out, I think I don't think he's a lock to make the team. Rashad Perryman. I hope he does, but he's not his dad. He's not coming here to be his dad. And it makes me a little bit nervous about him. I think he's a bust, as in he busts. He's a guy that should have been drafted in the 3rd or 4th round, man. Yeah. Like he shouldn't have been drafted so high. He got drafted purely on speed, and he's all you hear about him, man, is like you see a lot of lazy routes. If he has to actually run a route, it's lazy. He's a lazy guy, man. But if he's running in a straight line, whoo, you can't catch him. But then you got to have good hands. He doesn't have good hands. That's what scares me about him, man. That's what scares me about him.
So
anybody want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to add. My bad.
All right, buddy.
I want to just say he's busted out of draft position. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I think running. I look at what DK Metcalf did his first year in Seattle. DK Metcalf was criticized on his route running and his agility and his lateral ability and his break cuts. And what they did was they put 60% of his routes were deep goes, sluggo routes, shallow crosses, drag routes. And that's where he won at. Straight line speed. It's okay. It's okay to have straight line speed when you use it effectively.
Right. Deep ball Hall.
Right. You said what?
Deep ball Hall.
Deep ball Hall, man. That
deep
dude was.
Hall, yeah. Yeah, deep ball Hall, and they cut him. They need him now.
Dumb cut. I loved Hall.
Yeah.
I think Khalif Raymond's the new Marvin Hall.
Right.
He reminds me a lot of him.
Same.
Running his So who knows though, right? We never know.
I think what Perryman is another thing he has access to the same things NFL players have access to. He has access to a nutritionist. He has access to being a 6 a.m. guy. He can get to the facility at 6 a.m. He can catch passes with golf. He can fly out. He can be available and make himself available to his quarterback so he can get better. He can make himself available to those trainers that actually get you better. You can work with the greats. You can work with the Deion Sanders. You can work with the Larry Fitzgerald to get better. And if you haven't done your due diligence to do that, that's a problem. If you're only relying on your talent and your coach, you're cheating yourself. So he might be cheating himself out of bag if he's not doing that. Because this catching thing, like look at guys like Marcus Colston. Marcus Colston was a 6th, 7th round pick. Okay. Marcus Colston caught everything in training camp. And Marcus Colston is like the number 1 receiver in Saints history, all because he put in the work at Hofstra to be able to catch the ball. He was a guy like Sage Surratt. He wasn't fast. He was in marquee, went to a small school. But at the end of the day, catching the ball matters. So he has to get better at catching the ball, because if a guy comes in like McKinley, like Sage Surratt, like one of these guys that just catch automatic and they got speed, you gonna get cut. And you it's your 6, 7 year in the league, then you bust out completely. If you can't make a Detroit roster,
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's the thing, man. This is one roster. This is one roster position that he has a chance to shine in because it's terrible. Because it's absolutely
There's no
terrible.
proving God, really.
If you can't make it in on this unit, I don't think you can make it at all, bro.
On any unit,
So,
yeah.
Nope.
This is
invest in a jugs machine, my man. Get
Yep.
yourself a jugs machine and do that in your sleep because that's what it needs to do, man. That's what it
Catch
needs to do.
Wasn't there stuff earlier on that he was like he had showed up and he was running the wrong routes?
Running the wrong routes. He was getting out hustled by Jelani Tavai. He was getting out hustled by players and not knowing what the routes were. Like, get your nose in the playbook, bro. Like what are you
if
doing?
if your hands are going to be suspect and if your route running is not going to be that
who's
great,
that
at least make sure you're doing your job at that point. You know, the best thing to describe a lot of receivers, especially about this Rashad Perriman, you know, speed gets you into the NFL, but it's not going to keep you into the NFL. You know, a lot of those guys, like I said, a lot of those guys don't get forced to develop a skill set because they don't have to. They can just run by everybody, you know. Then you get to the NFL, and the NFL, you can't just run by everybody because your routes, I can tell what route you're going to run. You make it so obvious, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys aren't forced to develop.
He's never been a good route runner, bro. He's never been a good route runner.
Where'd that report come from?
And that came from a Detroit beat writer. I don't remember his name, but it was real. I do remember coming out that he was like, I don't know if it was a Burkett, I don't know if it was a Risden. I don't really know who came out with it, but they were saying that Perriman was kind of up and down OTAs. He was never consistent. And I remember one thing coming out saying like he was running wrong routes. He got. I remember he said he was personally watching him. I don't remember who it was though. I wish I could remember. But he said he was watching him, and he said Jelani Tavai literally outran him on one play. He was like concerned about it, and he said that the coaches went bananas and just started yelling at him, going, "What are you doing? Like letting a guy like that outrun you? Like, you know what I mean? Like
if Jelani Tavai outruns
I hope
you,
that Tavai is a speedster.
oh
now.
my god!
Yeah. Hopefully it's a good sign that Tavai is
a speedster now.
Yeah. So
Because
Campbell.
that is scary. If Jelani Tavai can outrun you, that is the biggest red flag I think I can ever see. Because this dude,
I'm going to try to find that article for you, Avery, and I'm going to try to find that for you.
But you see what Jelani did. Jelani lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
I hope so,
That's
man.
good.
I hope
That's
so.
good.
Been working on his coverage, and
I'm glad
He needs to, man.
I'm glad for Tavai, man. I'm really glad for Tavai. That actually makes me a little excited because this is the guy that probably he didn't have to do that. He could have been a guy that could have coasted. Like, I don't need to do this.
he could have just showed up.
He could have just showed up, man, and kudos to him for losing 20, 30 pounds, man.
I hope he does well, man. I give him a lot of grief, but I hope I'm wrong. Like, I want this guy to pan out. You got to have your second round picks pan out, man. You can't draft these guys and them fail. So I want him to succeed so much, man, because it will set us back if he doesn't succeed. I mean, we're talking about a starting linebacker, a second round draft pick.
Exactly.
So hopefully he does. But my fear is he ain't gonna pan out. That's my fear, man.
We've already seen how much of a bigger deal has been coming with coverage over the middle of the field. A lot of teams starting to attack these middle of the fields. I don't know if anybody's paying attention. Fred Warner, one of the best coverage linebackers in the league. He just got paid. They gave him the bag. It's because he covers the middle of the field. A lot of teams are attacking the middle of the field, and these linebackers who can't cover. If you notice, every single year these linebackers are getting smaller and smaller. You know, we already saw what happened with dude who went to Cleveland. I forget his name. He was like 215 pounds. He built like a safety. Put him at linebacker. So it's really going. And another thing, we talked about draft picks. You know, a perfect example of a team that won a Super Bowl because they had a history with some good draft picks, like a team like the Eagles. You know, 2018, I think it was. You know, they won off the strength of guys like Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, guys like that, guys who came around. I'm pretty sure before the current regime, right? And when you got a history of just bad draft picks, it hurts your future a lot, right? Because down the line, like what guys from previous regimes are still on this roster? Because whatever happens to them is they either don't pan out, they get injured. Yeah, it was really just that. They either pan out, they get injured, or they just leave because they don't want to be here.
100%, man. And we got some news, too, out of Detroit, man. We got some news out of Detroit. It's not the biggest news, but it kind of has something to do with the roster. Defensive tackle Brian Price who probably wasn't going to make the team, was placed on the. He probably wasn't, bro. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to bash him, man. I'm just saying he probably wasn't going to make the team.
He wasn't making the team, man.
It doesn't really have anything to do with him. I'm just saying he got put on the reserve. He got put on the reserve retired list. So now our roster is at 88. We're supposed to have 90 on the roster.
We picked up a guy.
Oh, we did today?
Yeah, let me see. What is his name? It happened while I was working. His name is defensive tackle Bruce Hector. We got him off waivers.
Oh, all right, Bruce. Bruce. Don't know who that is.
I don't know either. It happened while I was working, so I haven't even looked at anything about this guy yet. So
why would they go get another defensive tackle? My God, they have 100 of them on. Okay, all right, okay. They got 100. They got 100
training camp bodies.
Williams. It's just a camp body. Okay, but the question was, I thought it was going to be 2 roster spots, but we filled 1. We got to fill up another one. Who's getting signed? Is it going to be a wide receiver, a safety, linebacker? What do you guys think? Avery, what do you think? We got one more spot open on the roster. Yeah, you think it's going to be well, they gotta fill the roster. They gotta fill the roster. There's gotta be somebody. Well,
they have to?
You gotta get 90 on the roster.
I'm gonna say I think you have to get 90.
That's a rule?
I think you do. Well, I think it's a rule, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah.
No, it's not a rule.
It's not a rule?
No.
I thought you had to have a full roster. Okay.
We haven't had a full roster in a while, man. I think we've had 89 for a long time.
No. I'm saying by the start of the season. I thought you did.
Well, 53, the start of the season, you got to have your 53.
Right. Okay.
So,
during training camp, though. But all right. Okay, then I was wrong then. So they won't sign nobody?
I say this. They might put this dude, Hector, they might give him a little, here's some money, go get a life. Not Hector, but the other one that, Bobby Price. Yeah, I forgot his name that quick.
Brian Price.
Brian Price. Okay. Yeah.
Going back to Green Bay.
Going back to whatever, man. Go back to the hole he's crawling out of, man. I'd rather keep those spots open for potential surprise cuts.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of teams that's going to have surprise cuts. And then you have some receivers out there, but I'm sure they don't want to, I think a surprise cut might be N'Keal Harry or something like that. Some players, maybe Jordan Hicks from Arizona. I think those roster spots they like the wiggle room. But there's some players they should have got. They should have explored the Malik Kicker option. They should have explored that really. But I think they don't do nothing. I'm so used to the Lions doing nothing. Everybody think we got to do something because we're available. Just because you single don't mean you go out and get in a relationship, I'm just telling you that from experience.
100%, brother. Yeah.
I'm used to the Lions not doing hurry up and wait. They just not doing
hurry up and wait, man. Army mentality.
Yeah. Micro Mike, you think they pick anybody up?
First off, man, I don't know what's going on in the chat there, but we don't do racism on here. I'm a veteran. Avery's a soldier, and we got here down below Mr. Antonio Hightower, who's going to be a soldier. I don't know about what the civilian life is, but I don't give a damn what color you are, as long as you got my 6. And in the Army, there's only one color, the color green. And you put that uniform on, you fight for the man next to you. So we don't do all that garbage here. But what they could do is a surprise cut for sure. I concur with Avery there fully. It could be a surprise cut. Pick somebody up, just like you saying, N'Keal Harry. But if my theory, could it be my running back? Could it be Todd Gurley? Could it be? I don't know, man. I don't know. Todd Gurley, I'm waiting on you, man. I know a lot of people may not want Todd Gurley on the team, but I do, because I like those. I want those touchdowns and those 3rd and 1s converted. But that's my little insight. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it'd be nice.
Tone, man, what do you think?
I don't know if we're gonna pick anybody up right now. I think, like I say, they're gonna wait for some cuts. Particularly, a few guys. I don't know how the Giants are doing, but I'd really like to see how they, what's going on with Will Hernandez. Like, see what's going on with the Washington Redskins, football Wizards.
Okay.
See what's going on with their D-line cuts and their wide receiver cuts. Just see some teams around the league, even potentially some guys that might just get put on the trade block that you might not expect. But I don't expect any moves right now. But in the future, with some of these guys that are out here, I think we might see a few guys.
100%. Yeah, and Vincent, bro, hey, man. Yeah, I just don't like doing the black and white thing, bro. I get it. and stuff like that. But we're just talking football here, man. We're not going to do that. I never said racism does not exist. I just don't want to do that here on my channel, bro. That's for another day, man. You know what I mean? So respect there, bro. That's all good. But we'll end it up with one more question, man, and then we'll call it a night, man. Golden Tate came out with a highlight reel, and he did it all Lions. Everybody seems to think that this guy's coming to town. Now, apparently Dave Burkett tried to get him on the phone or something like that, or said he was going to try to call him. So do you guys think a possible signing with Golden Tate is coming to town? Mike, what do you think, buddy?
I don't think he'd want to, man. I think he'd want to go to a team that's more competing. In my personal belief, I mean, there's teams out there, an LA team. A team, an injury could happen. A lot of these guys that haven't signed yet is waiting for an injury to happen, just like we've seen with Akers in LA. So one of these running backs can go ahead and get better deal. They don't have to deal with training camps. My personal belief is he's not going to be a Detroit Lion. You know, why would he come here when he can go to a better team that's near, you know, competing?
Yeah, 100%. Avery, man, you think the little man's coming back or what, man? I think you're on mute, buddy.
I don't want him. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't want him. I like the question mark. I like the development of others right now. I know what I'm going to get from Golden Tate at 33 years old. I know that it's nostalgic for the Lions to get somebody that, you know, they can count on, who was a fan favorite, who was productive, who was – I think he was here for 5 years. He had 3,000-yard receiving years. In the first year, he had 1,300 yards. And, you know, he was always a phenomenal person, too. Won a Super Bowl, great guy. But I want to see some new blood come up. I like the new look Lions, man. I really do. And just think of all the reps. If we get him in there and he has to learn the playbook and he has to – think of all the reps that a Victor Bolden might miss out on, that a Tom Kennedy might miss out on. Think about last year where we cut Travis Fulgham, right? That was last year, or that was the year before last. We cut Travis Fulgham. He went to the Packers and tried to do something there, got waived, and then he went to the Eagles and he busts out 600 yards. You know, doing that because you relied on your receiver room and you're like, oh yeah, these guys are great. But at the end of the day, you let somebody go that you didn't give no type of looks to. He was showing you all this in preseason. He was showing you all this in camp, and you had him here, and you were like, oh, let me rely on this veteran, the veteran presence I got, and it's dagger time and all that stupid stuff they were saying. The next thing you know, you let him go, and the guy gets better. They did this with Chris Lacey too, and I just want to cultivate this new talent that we got in the building. The Javon McKinley's, I think Jonathan Adams cut, but Say Surratt. I want to develop this new talent. Actually, develop some type of culture here. You know.
I hear you, Avery, man. I hear you. Tone, you think he's coming to town?
No, I don't think Golden Tate's coming to Clouds. I mean, he's like 640 years old. I mean, I get that he used to play for the Lions, but most of his Lions connects aren't here anymore. The team is different. It's completely different. And I think we want to bring him back, you know, because we need a wide receiver, you know, just because we played for the Lions. But do we remember the Golden Tate that we saw after he left the Lions? Because that Golden Tate didn't look that great. It's part of the reason why he's on the roster right now. But I'm trying to see what the young guys got right now, because I need to see I need to plan for the future. So I need to see what you can do, how good you're gonna look, how you're gonna improve, and what I can expect from the future. So I don't really need Golden Tate just coming in here, you know, getting a few catches, but I don't know if Golden Tate would even do that much. He's old. Like, Golden Tate is old and broke down. He got traded for a reason. Like, we traded him. I remember in the moment, some people was kind of upset, but then we saw him he got traded to the Eagles, if I remember right. Then we saw him play, and we was kind of like, oh. And the Eagles fans were just upset all season at his play. He's washed, he's old, and, you know, most of his Detroit connects aren't here. If he would go anywhere, it'd probably be LA with Stafford. You know, Stafford's mostly the person I see him talk about right now. I don't see why he would even want to come back here.
Yeah. I don't see why he's coming. I don't see him coming back here either.
Yeah.
I know the highlight video he dropped on Twitter and Instagram, whatever he did. I watched it, and it was just all Lions. It was all Lions I think he was the
That's
best.
where
size
all
of
his
Detroit.
highlights.
I'm gonna
That's where
say
all his
because
highlights were.
I'm gonna say we're the
Maybe
team
it
that
was
he
a
was.
shot. Maybe it was a shot. Maybe he wanted to go to LA with Stafford, but it dropped a B, and a lot of Lions fans bought it, and they were like, "Oh, he's coming back! He's coming back
Seattle
to
let him
town."
go for a reason.
Yes, Seattle let him go, man. He was actually playing well in Seattle when they let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just started playing good.
I wanted to draft that guy when he was coming out.
I loved him at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He was great. So
Why, yeah, I did too.
yeah, man. So, but yeah, I don't think he's coming to town. But this is a guy that wants to go to a contender. But I don't think a lot of contenders are really knocking on this guy's door. So, to tell you the truth, he might not be able to get what he wants. I see him on a roster though. I just don't see him in Detroit. But anyways, guys, hey, this was a great show, man. We're almost 2 hours in, about an hour and 45 and change. We're gonna wrap it up. I appreciate everybody coming on the show, man. It was awesome. I got a video coming out soon. I'm going to do that Rashad Perriman video. You're going to be surprised at some of the info I got on that kid, man. So it's kind of disturbing. But anyways, man, Micro Mike, man, what do you got to say to the people, brother?
A One Pride podcast on my channel every single Thursday at 6:30 p.m. EST. It is fun, interactive show where if you got questions, we may have some answers. Make sure you guys show up for that. And on Sundays at 11 in the morning, I'm live as well for one-on-one Q&A. I think next week, though, OPP will probably be on a Wednesday because I'm going to training camp, and I am ready to hang out with the subscribers, watch some Detroit Lions practices, and see what this team's going to do. Also, if you're not subscribed to Avery Giovanni's Spirits of Detroit podcast, you're straight nuts. He's got fire content. He's a young channel. It is difficult to get up and running. Everybody who is in here right now needs to subscribe to his channel. Avery Giovanni's Spirit of Detroit podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Avery Giovanni, man, what do you got to say, buddy? You're on mute, bro.
Yeah, I'm mute.
You're on mute.
Love that shout out. I appreciate you all, man. Appreciate Tone being here and just the wisdom y'all was giving out today. My biggest thing, man, is that just go Lions. I can't wait to start going to the training camps. That's Wednesday, you say? I thought it was the weekend.
I will be there. I'll be in Detroit on Thursday, but I'll be at camp on Friday, and I'm thinking about going with the guys to the game on Saturday, the little game at Ford Field that they do, the scrimmage. So I'm thinking about doing that as well.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that's what I'm gonna do. I actually found out that I have drill on the same day they have opening day, so I'm gonna try to get out of that ETS or something like that. But I'm locked in on Lions, man. I'm gonna be doing some interviews out there, interviewing fans and hopefully players when I get the chance. But I can't wait to be at the training camps and see you and the guys and stuff like that. So that's all I gotta say.
Awesome, man. Tone, what do you got to say, buddy?
It was great coming here with you guys. Everybody's talking about making videos, so I guess I'll make some videos on. I got some ideas in the vault that I haven't used yet. I love to talk some crap on the Lions. But yeah, that's about it for that. Man, I forgot what I was about to say.
That's all good, brother, man. That's all good. But hey, man, I just want to say thank you again, everybody. And 9 drinks, man. I can't go over. They have not opened the border for Canadians to go to the States yet. I know on I believe it's August 9th, I want to say, Americans can come to where I live, but we can't go there. I think maybe the 16th. There's talk of it. I haven't heard too much about it. It's absolutely BS. What's going on right now in Canada, man? We're just like, it feels like we're trapped here. Everything is opening up, though. Around where I live, everything's opening up, but we still got some restrictions. But as for going across, I can't meet the fellas on ISN for training camp, which sucks big time. I wanted to really go this year. I can't right now. So it's just hopefully maybe in the next month and a half. I don't even know, man. But I just want to say thanks a lot, guys. Man, it was a great show, man. It was awesome with everybody. Thanks to the chat. Thanks everybody in the panel. Subscribe to Micro Mike. Subscribe to Tone. Subscribe to Avery Giovanni. Thanks, guys. Peace.